Hello again guys, and welcome to another Top Table Wargaming YouTube video. In this video today we're going to be doing a very short, very easy tutorial. It's basically how to turn our very cheap eBay trees from China from looking really naff and really, how can I say, uninspiring, to get them to look more realistic and better on your pieces of scatter terrain, on your modular boards, etc. I've been doing a lot of these over the last couple of days. I've got a lot of these trees, and I ordered them. They looked alright on the screen when I ordered them from eBay and Amazon, and when they turned up I was just really unimpressed. So I started just to play around with them and see what I could do just to make them a little bit more interesting and a little bit more realistic. So what you'll need is your trees. Excuse me. You will also need some modelling flock. Now I'm using for this purpose Woodland Scenics Blended Turf Green Blend, which is a mix of about 3 or 4 different shades, and I think it just adds nice bits of shade and highlights to the trees. But you can use whatever you like. It's the fine stuff that you want for this. There's different grades of modelling flock that you can get. I've tried the medium grade. It works fine. For me personally, I just really like the look of this. If I was doing a tree which didn't have as much foliage as this, I'd probably use the thicker stuff. So if I had, like, how could you say, the skeleton of a tree with no foliage on it, I'd use the thicker stuff, and then I'd probably go over the top of that once it's dry with the finer stuff. But yeah, so you can kind of go where you want with it. The thing is to do with this is just to experiment and sort of see what suits your board, because different types of trees for different areas of wherever it is you're basing your board on. So we get some of this and we place it into a container like so. So we have our modelling flock, we have our trees. We also need, I've just got mixed in here, some watered down PVA. You want to water it down probably 50-50, I'd say. If you water it down 50-50 and it still hasn't got that sort of hold to it, you want it to be quite gloopy, but you don't want it to be too thick, because you have it too thick, what tends to happen is you just get thick clumps of the flock on your tree and it doesn't look great. So yeah, so you want to water it down a little bit, and it's just, again, trial and error. So it's kind of like, you know, you're icing a cake and you get your icing sugar nice and thin so you can, you know, spread it. That's the kind of feeling that you want. So we have our PVA, we have our modelling flock, and that's basically it for now. Later on in the video I'll show you where else you can go, but for the sheer, you know, ease, that's all you need. So if you just wanted to make them look more realistic, and that's it, and get them on your board, away you go. Your trees, your flock, and your PVA. And it's as simple as getting your tree like so. Move it over here so it's easier for you guys to see. Now I use a brush. You can dip the trees. I use a brush just so I've got a little bit more control. And you're just putting the PVA on. You're just putting it on the tips. You only need it on the tips. You don't need to start getting it inside. You can if you want, but once the flock goes on, you're wasting glue, you're wasting flock, because you're not going to see it. The flock tends to cover the whole of the tree. Now this is going to be a very green, kind of in bloom tree. Again, if you wanted it to be more sporadic, more sparse, you won't put as much glue on. So that's us putting the glue on. Again, there's 2 ways you can do this. You can dip your tree, which is fine. You can dip like that. What I like to do is just hold it over the container and sprinkle it on. The reason that I prefer it this way, you've got more control and you tend not to get the clumps, and you can sort of see as you're going. So when it hits that spot in your eye where you're happy with it, you know, you can stop sprinkling. So that's that. Get it all on, and don't forget, turn your tree upside down as well to give it one last go, because you're going to have lumps of PVA on show otherwise. And one thing that I did with the first few was the very top of the tree, get some on there. So once you've done that, shake it off your hands, give it all a tap, get rid of any excess, Sorry, not showing it great on camera. So yeah, just tap it. I'm just trying different camera angles, as you know, so yeah. So there we go. And if you just compare the two, yeah, get it up, where are we? Here. You know, once that's dry and you can't see the white glue through, it just looks tons better. Tons better. I'll show you a few examples of the trees finished. Just grab a couple of these. Yeah, so you get pieces like that, and as you can see, I've got different size trees, different amounts on them, and it just gives a nice colour. And you can see one or two of them are slightly different shade. I don't know if that's coming through with the lighting, etc. Excuse me, get that out of the way. Need to really get used to this camera angle. But yeah, I mean, I think they look really cool. I think they just make these naff trees. See how just uniform green they are, with no life in them whatsoever. You know, and you add a bit of the flock, and it just brings them to life. Now, that's your basic trees. You know, you could just do that and get a load of scatter terrain, or you know, woodland terrain, and away you go. Or what you can do is, if you look at this one, yeah, this and this is one of the Chinese trees. I chopped it in half, trimmed it round, and made two smaller bushes out of it. These are branches from the garden. You see? Bits of twigs from my green recycle bin. And I gave it a go, and they've come out really well. I'm really happy with them. One thing I will say about when using you know, real twigs, they're not as sturdy. They can be quite brittle, so you have to be more careful with those when gaming. But just for the purposes of just mixing up the look and the shades and different things like that, I've used it. I don't, if they get damaged, they get damaged. It was a twig in the garden. It's not cost me anything. It's cost me a couple of pence worth of flock. So yeah, they get damaged. It's not a big deal. But yeah, it's just to show you that you can, you know, where you can go with it and what you're able to do. And I really like the look of that. Another thing that you can do from that is to add different things. You know, you can add the leaf foliage on top. These are the autumn colour. I don't have any of the. There's a colour called olive that you can get from a company called Knock. I think it's spelled K-N-O-C-H, and they do very fine leaves. And what you can do with that then is, once you've got your tree to this stage, which we've shown, just put dabs of PVA on some of the very outer branches and sprinkle the leaves on, and again that just adds another dimension to the trees, and it just finishes them off, just makes them look more and more realistic. You can go as far as you want, you can be as quick as you want with this. It's just getting them away from that, from them looking like a plastic tree basically. Another thing you can do, I'll just move that out of the way, is you can get these things from Woodland Scenics. I'm sure other manufacturers do them. I use a lot of Woodland Scenics stuff because it's good quality stuff. It's fruit, and basically all these are different coloured little balls. So you've got your orange for oranges, or whatever fruit, depending on where the tree is. It could be somewhere like Middle Earth, might have fruits that we don't have here. And then you've got these reds, which are nice for apples. Now all I do with these is get as much of the PVA off my brush as I can, and I just get a couple of little dabs on. I'm just going to do one side just to show you. Yeah, a couple of little dabs of glue. Grab a little pinchful and just drop them on. Yeah, and what you'll have to do sometimes is just press them in to the glue. They're bouncing off. They tend to bounce off a little bit. It's not a big deal. And I don't know if you can see that. Where are we? Yeah, and you can do that all around the tree. If there's too many on it, you just knock them off, back into your container, and away you go. And it just adds again another element. I'll probably be using the fruits for trees in and around the hobbit board that I'm making. But that's basically it. I just thought I'd do a quick video, show you guys how to make your naff plastic trees look a lot better. And then all you do from there is get yourself a base. Base coat it again. I've just used the same flock for the grass. I really like this mixed turf colour. You get a lot of differences to it. You can shade it using your Agrax Earth Shade, you know, just to make it look darker. There's a lot of things you can do with it, and it's very nice. And all you do to get the tree in place is take your base, get yourself a hobby drill or pin vise, whatever it is that you're using. Yep. Work out where you want. I'm just going to put it in the centre of this just for argument's sake. Drill yourself a little hole straight through. There we go. Simple as that. And we just glue it in place basically. So all we'd do then is get our super glue. Be very careful if you do use super glue. I'm basically using super glue for the purposes of this video, but do be careful if you're using super glue. Hold it in place. I use an activator spray also, makes the glue set straight away. And it's as easy as that. So with this, what I'll probably do is put another couple of bushes round the tree, have the tree as a centerpiece, maybe another couple of these smaller ones in there. And what this will be, it'll be a piece of scatterrain for a woodland board or hobbiton, and it'll just be a line of sight blocker, some cover for your minis, and it just looks the part. It looks really nice. It's a bit skew width, this tree. I can sort that out. If you do get these plastic trees and they're skew width like that, what you need to do is basically get them warm. So get a hairdryer. Once you blast the hairdryer on it, you'll find that it starts to get quite floppy. You then manipulate it into the position that you want, and you just hold it till it cools, or you blow it, or you go outside where it's cooler, and as the plastic starts to harden, it will stay in that position. Easy as that, because you do get some of these. They've been stuffed in these bags and shipped from China, squashed and everything, so you do get a few that are. But some of them I quite like. I quite like the fact that they're, you know, a bit going here and there. It's a lot like nature. So that is that, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I've got a few more ideas for similar videos for these quick and easy little tips, just to sort of improve the look of your scenery, the look of your boards. There's a couple of big projects coming up. Again, I'm just still sort of chasing my tail, trying to get these boards finished for the Scouring of Cheshire, but I'm nearly there, and once I'm there, I can concentrate on getting some quality content out for you guys. A lot of things in the pipeline. So yeah, so stay tuned. Keep checking in for new videos. Speak to me in the box below, and on the Facebook groups like you've been doing. All the interaction is greatly appreciated. Check out my tabletop scenery website. There are links on the Facebook group and probably in the description below this video for commission terrain and things like that, conversions, etc. Again, unbelievable sort of amount of support I've been getting from you guys, so that's much appreciated. If we can keep that going, I can keep pumping stuff out for you. So that's it really. Keep on gaming, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.